Big news! Wayfair's tax refund sale is on now. Right now through March 2nd, you can score up to 70% off furniture, decor, appliances, rugs, and more. With fast and easy shipping straight to your door. Plus, amazing flash deals. Shop Wayfair's tax refund sale now to make the most of your refund with huge savings through March 2nd at wayfair.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Am I even queer?
I think I want to take testosterone.
I mean, I'm wearing men's underwear right now.
Is that a boy? Is that a girl?
Man, woman, cisgender, transgender, like we're born into language.
Butch, femme, T-girl,
decolonized,
queer, trans, BIPOC,
neurodivergent,
cisgender, heteropatriarchal, capitalist, girl boss,
queer femme, lipstick every day.
T for T, like fag boy relationship.
butch,
boyish, like sprightly,
the softer, more fey.
Oh, but you're so feminine. You're so feminine.
attraction to a hot T-boy.
I used sexuality to try to understand my gender.
What does it look like for non-binary people to quote-unquote transition?
I was a boy. If I was looking down at the memory, I was a boy.
It's really difficult to look at gender identity head on.
Wait, I think I'm trans.
You know, Allie, it took me a really long time to figure out how exactly you're famous, right? Like there's this combination of comedy, college humor stuff, right? But in the past few years, you've also made your way into this Dungeons and Dragons community, which I feel like people don't realize that Dungeons and Dragons is actually very queer, very trans. And I'm curious how you've been thinking about like D&D as it relates to your gender and like what it's been like for you to be in this community for the past few years. So as a queer person, can you like sell me on D&D right now? Like what is the appeal? Like why are so many queer and trans people into D&D and what has it meant for you to be a part of this community for the past few years?
This is a really funny question right now because I was just up until like 3 a.m. playing D&D in a warehouse last night. So that's why I'm so fucking tired. Yeah, I do think it's like the queer fandom of D&D is enormous. There are a lot of queer players on these kind of like major shows. So I do think a huge part of it is like, one, it's just like fun. It's like storytelling. It's like those shows like The Moth or like these like big storytelling shows. If during the story they had to roll dice and depending on the number they got, had to change the story completely. Like you roll like a 20-sided.
So there's like an improvisational.
Exactly. You can like say something's gonna happen, but then roll a 20-sided dice, and if you get a 1, like it absolutely fails. Like, you know, like it's just like randomized storytelling. And I think kind of in this way, and Persephone talks about this in this interview, but a lot of queer people I feel like have like the Avatar, not the movie, not the blue people, but like this like video game avatar awakening when they're really young, where they're like, I'm always picking the woman or I'm always picking the man, you know, like as a root memory. And that's like the first like little taste of freedom and choice that you get like as a young person, where everything is like, oh, you're a little boy, you're a little heartbreaker, aren't you? You know, like all this weird language we get from adults. So D&D is a lot like that. Like you just get to make up a character. You're not even like in costume. You're just like, this is what I look like. And everyone's like, yeah. Like, no one's going to be like, you don't actually look like that character that you're pitching. Like, that's the whole point. You can just like pick anything that you can dream of. I think a big part of my transition and like early watching transition videos on YouTube and stuff like that, like some of that started because I was like, I'm gonna play a trans guy cowboy in New York City. And that was like an early character that I played in this show, Dimension 20, that I'm on. Yeah, it was just like an excuse to keep like researching the stuff I already wanted to research. Like I was just like, okay, how do you take testosterone? What are some like meds you could take?
It's for the role. It's for the role.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. It's just for the role.
I'm just method acting, honestly, even to this day. This is all for my D&D campaign. I'm a cis woman named Ashley. And
right.
Yeah. But you haven't played, right? Even though there are a lot of people, that play.
I've never played. Someone that I'm close to plays, and they have a game every Sunday. And I feel like whenever they come back from it, I'm like, did you win? And they're like, that's simply not how it works. I'm just like, are you winning, son? Like, you did good. And I'm just learning, like, that's not what it's about. So no, I know absolutely nothing about it. And I feel like it's through you that I've learned some things about it. And I know like a lot of the people that admire you are very passionate about this show. And so, and it kind of also tees up this interview pretty perfectly because you talked about Dimension 20. Totally. The guest that we're going to talk to today was part of Dimension 20, right?
Yeah, definitely. Today we're talking to my friend Persephone Valentine, and she's, like a content creator, drag performer, internet D&D person. She's done a lot of stuff in that space, and I really loved what we got to talk about. Quick disclaimer up top. I recorded the top of this episode in my car while driving home from therapy, which I had forgotten about. So please bear with the car noises. It does switch to a better mic kind of at the end. Thanks for listening.
Steffi, how are you?
How am I? I'm fucking great. I'm so good. I am fantastic.
Okay.
I am being crushed by the existential dread of the universe, but that's normal.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. We have different definitions of fantastic, I think.
If you can't depress yourself thinking about the heat death of the universe, what can you rely on?
I deeply agree.
Mm-hmm.
What is your relationship to femininity, and more specifically, your femininity?
Oh, I am aggressively feminine is what some of my friends have called it. Like in your face, violently feminine, if that can be a term. But like my relationship with my femininity is extremely complicated in that I both love it and sometimes I just can't fucking stand it. I hate it so much.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, the thing is that like it's performative. Yes, I'm feminine, but it's the performance of the feminine that gets to be tiring. And I think it's the same for like all sort of like gender presentation, especially when you're trans and you're so adamant about being seen the way that you want to be seen. That can get really exhausting because my default state is a goblin in like a pile of maybe clean clothes on my bed that I'm laying on top playing with my Switch. So it becomes complicated when you are someone who wants to be seen as a particular gender, and like having the requirement of that hanging over your head can be exhausting.
Whoa. Okay, that's so interesting because I feel like I've heard something similar from a lot of my trans femme friends. I'm curious if you kind of have to take each day and see like what your bandwidth is for like femme presentation.
I think that is true, but I will be real. I expand almost all of my bandwidth towards that. If
Really?
I'm leaving the house, I will be as femme as humanly possible. Maybe I won't have the most elaborate makeup or anything, but there are certain requirements that I will not go below when I go out. Like I have to have my beard covered. Because I have to have my beard covered, I have to use heavy foundation, which means I need to balance it out with other makeup. Otherwise I'll look like a ghost. My hair must always be done. Stuff like that. Always.
Whoa. Yes.
It's a defense mechanism. It's a way to protect myself. It's not just for my own peace of mind. Like it's not all just to silence the dysphoria of how like I feel about myself. Most of it's really just so that, people don't kill me if I go to the bathroom.
Oh my God. That's so dark and so real. What part of that feels like safety and what part of it feels euphoric? Or do those kind of percentages change all the time?
They do change all the time, but I will say that the amount of euphoria I get from it has lessened the further in my transition I get and the closer I get to, passing privilege or whatever you want to call it. I know it's a kind of a complicated term within the scene, but like that comes with safety. But the problem is that the closer you get, the more work it becomes. And the more you learn, the more work it becomes. And there are things that can make it easier, like beard hair removal, facial feminization, body feminization, all of that, which I've done a lot of. I've had laser consistently for a year and I'm still dealing with like the remaining dregs of my facial hair still clinging to my face like a bad relationship. But like, even though that makes it easier, it's still like this weight, and that weight will never go away. It doesn't matter how far along you are in your transition, because of the way society sees us and because of the way that we're taught to fear. It doesn't matter how quote unquote beautiful you are in like the traditional sense, or how traditionally feminine you are, or how passable you are. There will always be that feeling inside of worry and fear. But at the same time, I do love this shit. I love all aspects of femininity. I love hair, makeup, nails. Even though all these things don't necessarily make you a woman, these are things that I do enjoy. It's just, would I rather have the option to engage with them when I feel like it? Yes. But then again, to a degree, cis women feel the same way. So
Yeah, definitely. I can so see that. What kind of places do you think you feel most like at ease when it comes to like how other people are perceiving you, or like where do you feel most peaceful and not going through a checklist of like, oh, did I do this? Did I cover this base?
Home. My house. You know,
yeah,
there are actually people that I feel very comfortable with, but even some of them, I don't think I would want them to see me like fully without makeup or fully in like a state of like when I wake up. Seeing me when I first wake up in the morning is something that comes with a high degree of trust and fear.
Whoa, yeah.
There's only a few people that like see me without makeup, like in person. Like I'll post pictures of without makeup, but like they're always in good lighting and like stuff like that. But like, except for like roommates and people I've lived with, or like the scant few relationships I've had, most people don't get to see me without makeup.
So home. Like bed zone with your Switch.
Just being a cave gremlin, a cave troll. Yeah.
How has it felt to be kind of like in the gamosphere and be kind of like an openly trans person? Like, what has the reaction been like if you've talked to any like fans or even like coworkers and people you meet like out in the while in the job kind of world, or like at cons or whatever?
Well, in like my day job, the only people that really know are the people that saw my paperwork, because my paperwork isn't complete as far as my name change and stuff yet. No one else asks. No one asks. No one's asked me for years, or like assumed for years as far as I know, unless they've seen that paperwork. As far as like day job goes, yeah. I am out publicly, but it's mostly with the creative stuff I do. And it's interesting that you mentioned fans, because I think like when I was on D20, Dimension 20, a lot of people really vibed with the fact that I was trans and that I was playing a trans character. So much so that like I actually used to get really, really mad. I haven't talked about this publicly, but I've ranted about this to like Brennan and stuff. Like a bunch of people were being like, the first trans person on D20. I'm like, Allie is right there, you fuck face. Just because Allie isn't binary trans doesn't mean shit. It'd be one thing if you're like the first trans femme person, or like the first trans woman, but like the first trans person, suck a dick.
I know. This is really getting at a huge thing that we want to talk about on this podcast, which is like, am I trans enough? You know, are there like rungs on the trans ladder, and are you like, is non-binary part trans?
Well, so here's the thing, and you might not know this actually. Part of my like professional tool set outside of like content creation or acting and stuff is that I'm actually a civil rights and queer and Black educator and sensitivity consultant and trainer.
Amazing.
It depends on the individual, but non-binary identities do fall under like the umbrella of trans experience. Some non-binary people or agender folks don't necessarily like to call themselves transgender just because like it involves the word gender and like the movement of gender when they'd rather just be outside of it. But like when you're talking about it in like an academic sense or like an overall sense, these people do fall under the trans umbrella and are perfectly able to call themselves trans. And the idea that there's something that is trans enough is such absolute fucking bullshit. Just complete and total trash thinking. And specifically, I'm going to call out white trans women here specifically because they do this shit all the time where they're like,
oh my God.
My identity is threatened by non-binary people because my situation's what's okay and theirs is not. And these same people don't understand like any sort of appearance-based discrimination for any other reasons other than being trans, which also gets my goat. But like, there is no such thing as trans enough. The identities that fall under the umbrella of being trans are wide and varied. And like, there's as many different kinds as there are different kinds of people. And like, how people define their gender or their transness is completely different to one another. Like, you can take, especially like 2 or 3 non-binary people, put them next to each other in like a room, and their ideas of their own gender will be completely different. They will not be the same.
Oh my God, totally. Yeah.
I also think it's the same people that are like, did you transition medically? And I'm just like, ugh. There are non-binary folks that transition medically. There are binary folks that transition medically. There are cis people that use the same hormones we do to validate their gender. Just look at all these fucking bodybuilders on testosterone supplements. Like,
wow.
It doesn't make you better than anyone else.
No, you're totally right. There are so many like gender affirming choices that cis people make for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind? Would you like to talk about transitioning medically or like how that was for you?
Sure. I mean, I'm still in the middle of it. I've been on and off hormones due to various insurance issues and also my own idiocy because I have ADHD and let my prescriptions lapse. So like off and on since I'm currently on, thank God. Because guess what? They have mail order services now. They may not take my insurance, but at least I don't have to deal with doctors.
Oh my God, amazing.
Anymore. Also, moving states didn't help either because the rules are kind of different between California and Massachusetts. And what like Planned Parenthood doesn't take my insurance in this state, they did over there. And like, I had a trans doctor at one point who retired, and then I lost my script for like a half a year because I couldn't find another provider near me. So,
oh my God.
Ugh. She was weird though. She was an elder trans. And I mean that in like, you should respect your trans elders because there's not enough of them, but in the sense of like, you must always be stealth. No one can know. And I'm just like over here being like, hey, I'm trans. Ah! You know, very much like that.
It was a different time for them. Oh my God.
It was.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's still
totally
a safety thing. Like there's still people that are stealth. And I guess I'm semi-stealth at work because I don't talk about it, but
yeah, definitely.
But as far as like transitioning medically, I've run the gamut. I've had so many surgeries, both covered by insurance and not covered by insurance. I destroyed my credit because of the first ones I tried to get covered by insurance because of arguments between 2 insurance companies not wanting to cover it. That destroyed my credit. Yeah. They eventually did, but not before the damage was done. Currently, the one surgery that I haven't yet done, even though I've crowdfunded for it, is bottom surgery. But like I crowdfunded like last year, I believe it was, for several different surgeries, including bottom surgery. And I ran out of money halfway because I misjudged what inflation would have done to the prices. And by the time I got like official quotes, and also I was denied for a few surgeries and had to replace them with other ones because I didn't have.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So when I got my body contouring stuff done, I was originally going to basically get like a fat transfer, like a BBL, but for your hips because I was a stick with tits, or like a rectangle with tits more now. And they were like, we can't actually do much of anything with you and your body fat. So instead I had to get a procedure for implants that was triple the cost.
Wow.
Which was hell. Yeah.
Wow.
So currently trying to figure out how I'm going to do bottom surgery. Like I had made my decision to get it done, but there's still a part of me like, what's going to happen if you do? Because like, it's not as simple as you get the surgery, you recover, you have a vagina. No, there's so much maintenance that goes into it.
That's like a 2-parter, right? Bottom surgery.
It can be. It depends on which type you get. There's so many different procedures for trans femme bottom surgery now.
Interesting.
The one that I want really is the most recent one where it actually produces its own lubrication. It's like the most modern procedure.
Wow.
But yeah, I've had facial surgeries done twice. The first time left divots in my skull, which is an ongoing issue. I've had breast implants. Yeah. It wasn't good. I'd name names, but like I have about 6 months before the statute of limitation runs out, and I'm still debating whether I'm going to sue.
Oh my
So,
God.
fun facts, y'all.
I mean, yes, this stuff is complicated.
It is.
How do you ground yourself, or how, given that this is just way too much to have on a person's plate and is like very unfair, how do you navigate it? Like, how do you keep yourself motivated and sane? Like, what are the moments that carry you through?
I think, honestly, it's just that I am too fucking stubborn to give up. I'm just too stubborn to stop or let anything hold me down. Like, bitchily stubborn. Honestly, the like weight of all this and the surgeries really gets to me. I had 2 procedures in the last 6 months, and one of them was like 6 surgeries in one. The recovery process is very brutal. It wears on you, just the weight of all the things you have to do. Like, if it'd be one thing if it was just so that you look at yourself and feel right, but it's not just that. It's so that the world looks at you and doesn't see anything wrong, which is the exhausting part.
Yes. Is there a difference there, you think, for you between what you're looking for in yourself or looking right versus this kind of like external gaze and what it's requesting from how you present?
I do. Mostly because like it's a combination of things like beauty standards, but I'm also half Black, though I don't deal with as much beauty standard bullshit as darker skinned Black women do. There's still this expectation of whiteness as a beauty standard, as a like European features as a beauty standard, that I will not and refuse to entertain trying to match. So like that's different from my expectations of what I see like of myself. It's also like how femme or how masc you're seen as is cultural and can change from area to area. Like here I might be viewed as a woman, but I might be viewed as super masculine in like an East Asian country or something, you know, like Korea or Japan. But like my idea of what I want to be is also still affected by cultural standards. But there's a few things that I refuse to entertain.
Yeah, totally. Like those kind of like European beauty standards.
Yeah, like you must have like a perfectly straight nose with a flipped up tip, or like you must be pale. I am pretty racially ambiguous, but I do not look white, even though I'm half white. Could I, if I went to surgeons, look more Caucasian? Yes. Am I going to do that? No. But at the same time, I got to be real. I'm 2 months out from facial surgeries, like revisions. And like after the recovery, I'm looking at myself like, I don't think it was enough. But I've also reached my limit, not just money-wise, but like of what I'm willing to do because it's exhausting.
Totally. I remember we were talking a couple weeks back about surgeries and like gender affirming care and who it's for in this kind of way. And I was talking about how I was like so glad to get top surgery, but also I'm curious if I would have gotten it if there wasn't just like such a hyper fixation on boobs in general.
Yeah.
And like how awkward it made me feel.
Yeah. I think my transition would be different without the lens of the world looking in on us as like some evil monstrous creature.
Yeah.
I do think it would be different. Like, I don't know if I would have gotten boobs. I definitely still would have removed my beard. I know that for sure. I would definitely still be removing my beard, even though it took me forever to get to it. I would definitely still be doing that. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of the body work I have, I might have not done or not entertained. I think that there would still be things that I would need to do to feel comfortable with myself, like some of the facial surgeries and stuff. But I don't know if I would have been as obsessive about, I must have hips so that I don't look like a box. I think in a world where gender was seen as more malleable and more accepted, would I be so adamant about being trans femme? I feel like I would still be femme and I feel like I would still be trans femme, but I think I'd probably lean more towards like she, they, like a non-binary femme, like still like a girl, but doesn't care. Like, I feel like I would do a lot more playing with gender because like I do enjoy playing with gender. Like I do drag looks, both drag queen, drag king stuff. And like when I voice act, there's no limits to what I'm willing to do with my voice because I'll do anything from up here
to all the way down here.
Like, it doesn't matter to me. So like, I probably play with that a lot more in my like day to day just for fun. But I also don't think that I would identify that way now just because of the way that my life has gone and the way that I have sort of like built myself up, you know?
Yeah, totally. I'm really interested in your use of the word play.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you feel like there's kind of like really dire things that you're having to deal with and some people have like the luxury of being able to like play with gender?
I mean, I still have the luxury of being able to play with gender. That's what drag is. That's, you know, like true. Playing with gender in an extreme way and like making comedy or art with it is just what drag is. I feel like I do have that luxury. I just don't feel like I want to play with it as much because of the things that are like going on with the world, like as far as like my day-to-day presentation and stuff. But do I think that some people have it easier than me? I mean, I am still Black, even though I'm light-skinned. So like that layer of it does affect things. It also affects how I'm seen as a woman because Blackness, especially femme Black people, are often viewed as more masculine. So like that does color things and make things more extreme for women like me, especially people who are darker than me. Do I feel like I have it the worst? Everyone in the world. No, no, I am in a few ways highly privileged as a trans person and then not as much in others, you know?
Yeah. I guess that's important to take a moment and be like, okay, in these ways, I feel like very privileged. Sometimes I feel that way when I talk to like earlier generations of trans people too, where I'm just kind of like, right. Mm-hmm. It is like a degree easier for me.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I want to talk about you DMing and Twitch streaming, RPGs in general. Do you feel like that's given you an opportunity to play with gender? I know you mentioned you
absolutely.
played a trans woman, but...
Yeah, absolutely. I play with gender all the time in games, like especially when I'm DMing, like I give like masc or femme voices depending on what the character is, what their gender is, like who they are. I don't limit what my range is. So like...
You can have a knight who's masculine like this.
Or a beautiful princess who talks like this. Or a witch that speaks like this all the time. I'll go all out for those things. And that's when like my gender doesn't affect it because I know it's entertaining and I know it's something that I can do that not everyone can do. So it's like, why not play with that?
Yeah.
And like I do that for like when I play like classic RPGs and stuff, I'll voice the game all through. Sometimes I do that with my friend Honor. We have this segment called Beauty and the Beard where we'll voice act different things. Right now we're doing Phoenix Wright and I'm playing both like a lot of the femme characters and like Edgeworth. So I have a character that talks like this.
And then I have Miles Edgeworth.
So it's like, it's very fun.
Yes. Yeah, I love the role of like fantasy when it comes to transness. I think that is like a very researched and like talked about topic online, but it just is true that it gives you so much space to explore gender among so many other things.
Oh yeah. My first forays into like exploring gender, besides always playing female characters in video games, were not even Dungeons and Dragons. It was actually World of Darkness and LARPing. Like, when I started playing femme characters and stuff. So those were the things that like really, really convinced me that you're probably going to transition. I used to be like, you know, if I transition, because there was a period of time where I was like very gender fuck and like very much like wearing heels and makeup every day, but still like, I'm a guy. I'm definitely a guy. And then it slowly became like, if I transition, when I transition. And then I caught myself one day at work thinking when I transition, and I just stopped and was like, oh, okay. I guess that's a thing now. I remember that realization distinctly. I was like 23 or 24. Yeah.
Were you excited or were you scared?
I was terrified, I think.
Yeah, because, totally.
Yeah. What was it like for you?
I think similarly. I was very like, this therapist that my friend saw for a while talked about this like
thing that sometimes people do, like the analogy that he used was like throwing your hat over a fence because you know you're going to have to go over there to go get it. Like throwing something that you really like over there. Like little moves like that where I would kind of put myself in a position where it's like, oh, I'm telling more and more people that I feel non-binary. Okay, now I'm like Googling, how does one go about getting top surgery? Oh, now I'm watching all these YouTube videos. So I was just like inching myself forward in this way and getting new info that I knew was going to make me just want to do it more, you know, but I like couldn't help myself. But similarly, I think it was also super scary to have to like be in a relationship, be in like a quote unquote lesbian relationship, and then be like, I'm hoping to bring in these like more masculine things to our relationship. Or, you know, like I'm wanting to surgically remove like my breast. Like, yeah, just some things that kind of felt like really scary conversations. And that's like not even including like Republican parents.
Oh, God.
Like, God.
Yeah. Do you have Republican parents?
Yeah, my mom's like super Republican. But my brother is also gay. And she like has like a Bible study that she leads at her church about how you can be gay and Christian. So she's an ally. Yeah.
So you want to hear something pretty fucked up? My mom is a bisexual woman who was raised in a commune in Boston, who, after I came out as trans, eventually kicked me out. We're on good terms now, but she kicked me out a few months after I came out. And keep in mind, I had been dressing femme the entire time, but she just could not handle it. She gets it now, I think. We've talked a lot about it, but like she did not for a long time. I didn't actually talk to her for a few years.
Yeah.
So like, I get it. Even my mom, who's like the most accepting liberal, and I do mean liberal both in like the good and meh sense, person can really struggle with something that they don't understand.
Yes, absolutely.
I also don't think that people need to understand it. They don't. They just need to know it exists and that we are who we are. And that's it, really.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It feels hard, especially with a parent, because they have just like been there and they've really like formed their opinions about who you are, like what they expect of you. So it does seem like particularly earth-shattering for parents in this way where you're like, you didn't know everything. Like
The other thing too is that like when I was a kid, I used to play dress up as a girl all the time. I would walk around telling people I was a girl until it got bullied out of me by like kids in like kindergarten. That was like a known factor. My mom has so many photos of me just dolled up in makeup and stuff. And I was always in her makeup and things. Although I will say like, that's a phase that a lot of kids go through. It doesn't necessarily mean they're trans. It's how they sort of like learn and experience with the world. So let your kids explore.
Yeah, totally. I always took my dad's razors and shaving cream and would like cover my face in shaving cream and shave with the guard on the razor, like the cap.
That's so adorable. That's so cute.
Now I've been on T for 2 years, waiting for that to be a reality. I haven't grown any facial hair.
Oh, honey.
Shave
There's
my
things
bare
you can
skin.
do. A lot of both cis and trans men I know will use Rogaine on their face.
Oh, you know what?
Hair.
I have heard that. I've heard that. And also, just for men, like dye, you can dye like the little, whatever is growing, you can dye darker.
Yeah.
And so it will look a little more, prominent. I feel like you have a lot of tricks. It's like hacks.
Yeah.
You've like
I
hacked
should make like a
certain
hack
things.
YouTube video. 5-minute gender hack.
Make it. Okay, so speaking for myself, I would have loved to have transitioned earlier. I know not
Same.
feels like that. But yeah, do you feel like that would have been amazing for you as like a preteen into teen with like people? Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. I wish I transitioned earlier. Wouldn't have needed nearly as much surgery.
Yep.
And I would probably still feel more comfortable than how I appear now. And I know that I'm very feminine, but like I'll look in the mirror sometimes and be like, I'm still clockable. I'm still clockable. And I've had so much surgery. I know it's a mental thing, but like, I think that some of the people who have been able to transition early, like Kim Petras, for example, half the people I know don't even know that she's trans.
Yeah.
Like she completed her transition like really early at 16. And I was like, That's so cool. That would never happen here because she's German. But like the other thing too is like people think that puberty blockers are irreversible, which are not.
They're not.
And like most people won't let you even start like hormones until like the earliest I've ever seen it done is 13. Usually it's 16, 15 or 16. And actually 13 is when you really should start them. But
totally. This is the important thing. I think like that's a big portion of misinformation, I think, is people saying things along the lines of, you're going to pump an 8-year-old full of hormones. And you're like, what are you talking about? No one is even put on hormone blockers until puberty, which is when hormones come into the picture, you know, like.
Exactly. And the thing is, like, if they're put on hormone blockers, they can choose, like, when they're older to go on, like, testosterone, estrogen, or whatever. And it'll have similar effects to what it would have had for puberty. Otherwise, because they're on that blocker, if they're not on that blocker, that's when you get people like me, like you, and stuff like that. Like, although I will say, fuck you, because testosterone is so much more effective post-puberty than estrogen is. Like,
is it?
It's so much more. It is. It like, it does everything from bone shifting to fat transfer to like a lot of things. And it changes your voice too. Estrogen doesn't change your voice. You have to train it to like be different. Yeah. Estrogen will only change your voice if you're pubescent or prepubescent when you start taking it. That's when it has the most effects on the body, and like it will shift like bone development and stuff like that. But like if you're doing like post-puberty, second puberty, like taking it as an adult, it doesn't do nearly as much.
Yeah. It just makes me like a really moody 30-year-old.
Oh God, what is that? Like, oh God, it's true that like the brain state of trans people when they start taking new hormones is like that of a teenager, which is not to say that we think we're teenagers. It's just the development of the brain like changes because you're changing the cycle of it. It just means like our brain's completely shifted and like we're fucking out of our minds, you know?
Yeah. Do you take a shot? How is your estrogen? Is
so I've done both shots and pills. And shots are more effective for estrogen, hardcore. They are. But I'm on pills right now because I'm so bad at timing and scheduling and ignoring alerts on my phone that I'll be like, did I take my estrogen shot? No. So it's easier just to take the pills day by day. But if you are starting estrogen, shots are really the way to go. They're more expensive. But shots and progesterone are really what you should be on. I started on pills and Spiro, which is not great. Don't go on Spiro if you can avoid it.
Wait, why?
A number of different factors. There's some studies showing that like it causes sort of like fat development in the way you don't want it, which I sort of experience like in weird pockets. More specifically, it can ruin your sex drive. Progesterone doesn't do that as much and is more effective at blocking testosterone. Progesterone doesn't leach as much sodium out of your body as Spiro does. Like Spiro, you will piss out all the sodium. You got to constantly do more sodium intake. Progesterone, I don't think has the same side effect of the salt leaking, but you're going to have to look into that, people. Don't take my word for it. But yeah shots are more effective. But do whatever you can get or afford because it's going to be better than nothing.
Yeah, totally. I remember reading that also, that starting with shots is a little bit of a stronger start. So I think that that really helped me choose shots. But wait, you take it every day?
I do.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I take estrogen twice a day, once in the morning, 1 pill in the morning, 2 at night. And then I take 1 pill of progesterone at night. And I also take finasteride, which is like a hair DHT inhibitor. So you don't lose your hair.
Yeah, totally. So do you have one of those like pill organizers that's like days of the week?
Bitch, you think I can be organized? That's a bold statement.
Yeah.
Very bold. No, I am the most disorganized fuck. Unless I'm running a game or getting paid to be organized, I am a terror. My desk is covered in makeup right now. Just covered. Oh shit. We didn't talk about name choosing. I want to ask, why did you choose not to change your name?
I'm still like deciding, I think.
Really?
Some names like stand out to me, but I think Allie just did feel very gender neutral to me, even though...
You also want everyone to know you're an ally.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally spelled like ally. I was like,
I'm a monster. That was a terrible joke. Terrible joke.
Sometimes the more I pass, the more I think about going back to Allison.
Oh, for the dichotomy.
The more like mask I get, because then it's like a guy named Allison, I think is... I mean, that is also...
I believe it's a guy's name too. Countries. It's not common, but it's cool. That's cool.
Totally. I think that's cool. Okay, so Persephone. How did you choose your name?
So my full name is Persephone Jade Valentine. And the main reason is because it allowed me to keep my family nickname, which is PJ, because I knew my family was never going to call me anything else. Persephone also suits me, I think. It's the goddess of the underworld and spring in Greek mythology, but it also means the destroyer. So like, it's good for me because that's what I do to all my relationships.
Oh my God.
There's like those things where like meme posts of how trans people pick their names, like trans masculine non-binary people are either an object or like a drowned Victorian child. And then fucking trans women are either like Kate or like a cyberpunk jewel thief. And I think you can all tell which one I picked. I took my new last name based on my dad's first name because my original last name is my legal father's last name. I'm not actually his child. And I wasn't going to take my bio dad's last name because it's a slave name, Baptiste, Jean-Baptiste. So I was like debating between taking my dad's first name, Valentino, as my last name, Valentine, or changing my mom's maiden name, which is Galloway. So I could have been Claudia Galloway, Vivian Galloway. I went through like Winter as a name. Medea was a really high one on there as another Greek name until I remembered Tyler Perry. Can't do that. Nope. Circe was up there. I had a bunch of Greek names because I've been obsessed with Greek mythology for a long time. There was no way that I was going to be Sam or Katie or fucking like Brittany.
Yeah.
I needed all the drama that my dead name did not give me. And like, this is just what I settled on.
It's so fitting. Persephone Valentine is such a beautiful name. I love it.
Thank you. I've grown very fond of it over the years, and it's like grown to suit me very well, I think, in certain aspects, over time.
Wow.
It's really interesting. It's also like, if you're cis listening to this and you don't like your name, change it. You don't even need to do it legally. Just fucking tell people what your name is. I have so many friends that have just decided to change their name. Some of them definitely came out as trans later. It seems like more and more people I know are coming out as either like trans or generally queer or like something else every day. Like if I have a straight friend, sometimes I'm looking at my watch like, when is this going to happen? When is this going to happen? Not always, but like a lot of the time. Especially with like the friends that are like what I call queer adjacent, where they're so surrounded by queer people, but they're like the one token straight. I'm like, are you though?
Yeah, I'm like, you did this on purpose. You created the space that you need. Yeah.
When's this egg gonna crack? But yeah. Trans people's names are wild, and I fucking love that aspect of like the culture that we have.
Yeah, totally. One of the many things that we just get to create, like realities that we get to create, which is really cool.
I wish it was easier to create.
Very hard fought. Exactly.
Yeah. It should be easier to create these realities because they don't really threaten anyone. There's so much fear mongering about us, like we're monsters. So much of it comes back to the fact that people think that transitions are always sex related. No.
Totally. No. Gender and sexuality is so like conflated.
They are. And in some ways I get it, but in other ways it's just not good, which is not the same as saying that the T should separate from the LGBT, whatever, leave the alphabet soup alone.
Oh my God. The LGBTQIA plus.
LGBTQIA plus alphabet soup mafia. Yes, God. Boots the house down.
Wow. I loved so many things about that interview. Persephone highlighted so many of like the real systemic struggles and barriers that trans folks, especially trans femme folks, go through, whether it's acquiring surgery or still feeling pressured to achieve some sort of, feminine beauty standard. What I especially loved about this interview is how she talked about D&D and like her performing style kind of as this type of play and escape.
Yeah, definitely. I do think there's kind of like a lot of impossibility that you're faced with when you're trans. And I think a lot of what we got into in the interview is very real about it would be hard enough if you had to work this hard and face this much adversity to get like exactly what you wanted, but it's actually not that easy. You have to work this hard to get something and then be like, is this actually what I wanted? Or is this like
totally
just something to keep me safe? It's just really fraught, honestly. And so I totally see entering D&D where you just like make your own world and you make the mechanics and you can strip it down a little bit and you can feel free and creative being so fun. Cause like, I feel exactly like her. I need a lot of recharge time with like my personality. Like I do need to be on top of a pile of cleaning clothes on top of my bed playing Switch, like just silent. But I think like stuff like D&D gives you a really fun, like social version of that. Quiet recharge time, but it's like with other friends and it's like very regenerative in that way.
You're kind of, I feel like you're like convinced me to play D&D, which is not something I ever thought I would do.
Now that's a Patreon exclusive.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Could you tell me about one of the characters that maybe you've played in D&D? Like, are they in the room with us right now?
Yes. I've played everything from a little peppermint stick of a boy in a Candyland kind of game.
Hi, I'm Liam Wilhelmina. I am a level 2 candy cane ranger. I'm currently on my hands and knees looking for interesting seeds.
I played that trans guy, binary trans man running around New York City with like a magic teapot. I love explaining this to you because I'm just like,
wait, what's his name?
His name's Pete. That's Pete.
Yeah, I'm Pete. Just let me know what you're trying to track down because I'm sure I can get it.
Peter, mostly what I do here is I pull bullets out of gangsters that have been shot.
In a way, I was kind of shot. I think
Not
shot my
really.
tits off.
I will admit it was my first time doing top surgeries.
You did a great job. I don't think you left that much stuff in there that you shouldn't have.
He's out there. He's like trying to like, he has insomnia. He's trying to get some sleep. He has sleepy time tea. He has a little butterfly with him that is the Lunesta butterfly from those old commercials. That's just like animal familiar. But then I play like high femme, like businesswoman.
My name is Margaret Encino. I'm a 24-year-old entrepreneurial businesswoman, and I work for UFTP, the United Free Trade Planets. I'm an executive. I'm actually very high functioning. And today has been a madhouse, okay?
Like, you know, my dream person, / just like all the women I seem to date is like type A, like get stuff done, like business bitch. And now I've played so many characters. It's been like 5 years of making the show, but I do really love the like kind of clean slate aspect to it where you just get to make a whole new character and be like, okay, who is this person? Like my ADHD really loves that. Like I love a new year. I love a new start. I love like, okay, that all got really complicated. Let's Control Alt Delete and let's like start a new fresh page. But it's really, obviously, it's like a major part of my life now, but I couldn't recommend D&D more for trans and queer are just all people. It's just like endlessly creative. Gender Spiral is an original podcast from Audiation. This episode was mixed by Matt Noble. Music is composed by Chanel Critchlow. Art is by Joey Hahn with graphics by Honey Hodges. The executive producers are Ireland Meacham, myself, Allie Beardsley, my co-host Babette Thomas, who's also our story editor, and Sandy Smollins.
Thank you to our guest Persephone Valentine. You'll find a link to her Instagram in the show notes. If you like the show, please head over to patreon.com/genderspiralpodcast to support us and get access to fun stuff like our Discord server, bonus content, and complimentary merch. You might even find Allie's personal OnlyFans.
It's just pictures of my dog's paws. Everybody calm down. You can also check us out at genderspiralpod.com where you'll find a link to leave us a voicemail and ask us questions. Please tell us who you want to hear from, what you want to hear about. Tell us stuff about your life. We might even use it on the show. And follow us at Gender Spiral. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and stay tuned. We're releasing a brand new episode every single week this summer.
Tune in next week to Gender Spiral,
where you never have to spiral alone.
Audiation.